investments that exist in the portfolio which will never serve a Rogers need, but that are very well positioned to serve a need of US carriers or wireline carriers that are using different technologies. And so from that perspective, we're letting the best ideas, the ones that we think have the most potential, the ones that we think have the most opportunity for growth, receive the investment. It's worth saying that many people in the room may have started or be operating different venture groups. I would say we started our venture group trying to do the other thing, trying to pre-screen all of the opportunities that came in to see and make sure that they fit Rogers. What we realized is sometimes that worked out really well, and a lot of times what fit Rogers didn't necessarily make a great company. And so we've kind of gone the other way. And like I said, we're 18 months into that experiment, but it seems to be going quite well. Ruckus just got listed, so we're excited about that. And I think we're kind of moving down a good path on it.
So if you put back at the contact information, I do have a pressing question there as well. Is that you in the contact information picture?
It's a handsome, that's a handsome man, that can't be me.
It took you out to a rock in the scope.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I don't want to be with my laptop on a rock in the scope. That's a bad composition.
I thought you were going to do an HR by saying, this is the typical workday for Rogers staff. We currently have some openings.
No, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative for a workday situation.
Who's that guy's boss? What's his productivity in that situation? All right. So, tremendous media empire that we're talking about. So it's a family-owned business, correct?
Yes, Rogers is it's a publicly traded business, but 90% of the voting shares are owned by the family.
So they just organically grew from a cable TV company to where they are today.
Actually, if you go back to our founder Ted Rogers and his founder, or his father, Ted Rogers. The original Ted Rogers was an innovator and had some very interesting early innovations around radio technology. His son, our first investments were in radio, and so our first foray into this great empire that is now Rogers started in radio, grew from there, went to cable. We had a position in cable in the U.S. and in Canada, and then when the opportunity came for wireless, Ted had to convince a lot of people and a lot of skeptics that selling our position in the U.S. cable market to invest in this new thing called wireless technology made sense.
And that was back in the AB days, right, with the two analog channels. In Bell Canada was the A, and Rogers bid for the B license.
That's right. And we were seen at the time as a startup, kind of competitive company, very entrepreneurial. It's still a big part of our DNA. But the fact that we chose the GSM standard when it was available, which gave us opportunities on international roaming. The fact that we had the iPhone exclusive and the privilege to have the BlackBerry is what resulted in our leadership in the wireless space.
I see two questions on either side. Let's start over here and then we'll bounce over to the other side.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Carla Fitzgerald. I'm with Smith Micro Software. And Scott, you talked about placing early bets in BlackBerry and some of the other early platforms back then. I'm wondering what bet Rogers is placing with Windows mobile phones and other emerging mobile platforms today.
Yeah, so Microsoft's a very important partner to Rogers. And when the Windows Phone was launching, just as an example, but I wouldn't limit our partnership to just Windows Phone. It's across all of the innovation. You think about the multiple different video platforms and stuff that Microsoft offers. But just to speak to the Windows Phone in particular, we had an exclusive arrangement to bring the Windows Phone to market first with Microsoft. We had it launched on the Nokia device in a way that was exclusive to Rogers for a period of time. That was a result of our continuing deep commitment to and partnership with Microsoft, and a genuine desire to see multiple operating environments exist in the Canadian marketplace. Right? And we remain quite committed to the other operating environments of Android, BlackBerry, and iOS, but we believe there's room for a fourth, and we want to commit to that.
Great. All right, we'll slide over this side.
Two questions. Is the fifth play over-the-top digital media content? And the second question is, do you face any regulatory issues in Canada bordering on antitrust, particularly if you're now a bank, as well as controlling all of these different types of media and communications channels?
Yeah. We're obviously, it's very important for a company like Rogers to work in the regulatory framework. And so we spend a lot of time partnering with the government, figuring out what's the right way in which to operate, be successful in the context of the regulated environment. It's worth noting that our bank is a very separately governed, separately held entity that conforms to the regulatory environment that it needs to conform to. And then with respect to the first question, I didn't hear all of it, but I think it was around, are we limiting our over the top?
Fifth play, what's the fifth play?
Oh, so I would say we've got, when we think about our quad play bundle, and the fifth play, if you're asking that, we think the fifth play is our smart home monitoring. Smart home monitoring. So we have in Ontario, we today offer customers a bundle that includes wireless, cable, internet, and home phone. We know from the work that we've done when we had security of that bundle, we get a lot of positive attributes in terms of deepening the relationship with our customer, enhancing the loyalty, reducing the churn dynamics, all those things that are important. And then over the top, my only point about that was, if you go outside of Ontario where we don't have a cable footprint, we have a very different situation because we're a wireless company across the country, but we don't have cable in Saskatchewan or Alberta, for example. And so in those environments, how we create a bundle, whether that's through partnerships or through do is very important.
Do you have any satellite partnerships in those areas? Or?
We don't. We've certainly looked at the satellite opportunity, and I would say it's continues to be a medium active file.
Yep. You talk about like fifth play or a five play. I don't see any limit to the number of plays. I mean, they come and go as opportunities, but you talk about a smart home. Okay, as a connected car, that's another play essentially.
So we already do a bunch of connected car. I mean, it's at this point a lot of it is in partnership with AT&T and kind of more of a wholesaling kind of piece. But we see, if you look at our end-to-end platform, for sure the car has a role.
So I'm running out of time. That's a couple of interesting questions. So I wanted this banking thing is so interesting. I don't think a lot of people know that the U.S. banking industry is characterized by thousands of banks being small credit unions. The Canadian industry is not. So becoming a bank in Canada is kind of a big deal.
There are 5 key banks in Canada. Yeah. And I'm not going to get the market share exactly right, but they occupy about 90%. Yep. Like if someone knows the exact number, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but let's say it's around there. What we're doing is we file for a license that gives us the flexibility to be able to offer the solutions that we believe our customers need without having to be beholden to the bank's innovation schedule.
So are you going to try and use that primarily for the kind of mobile commerce, mobile payments and payments, as opposed to mortgages?
Yeah, our vision today, and the world can change, but our vision today is not necessarily to get into mortgages. This is really about enhancing the mobile experience by being able to develop solutions that support commerce.
Let me ask you the last question that's important and relevant for the TC3 conferences. What are the mechanisms that Silicon Valley startups and entrepreneurs can use to connect with Rogers? Obviously you're on the venture side, venture and just adoption.
Yeah, I think again, what I would say is Mike Lee is here in the Valley. He's a great point of contact.
Back to the contact.
Go back to the contact. So he's here. He's a great point of contact. We see a lot of different companies, and if you're at the stage where it's appropriate, that's a great thing. We also have the office of our chief investment officer, which does strategic investments. Sits here in the Valley as well. Then if you have a broader partnership opportunity, then the opportunity to connect to the strategy group, and I'm probably the best conduit for that. I can direct people to the parts of the organization where they're going to get the most value.
I'm not sure, is Mike Lee here today?
He's not.
Okay, so we can.
He was originally intended to be here.
All right, do that. All right, well, thanks a lot. I'm going to ask you to stay seated while we dispatch everybody off to lunch. So with that, thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate it.